Ibn Amadi has been in the United States for quite a few years now. We'll get to that in a moment. And he went to college, met his wife, started a business in the Fargo Moorhead community. But today is another milestone in his life. Today he becomes a U.S. citizen. Welcome back to the show.
Hi. Hi, it's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
And I'm so excited that you came, and I feel privileged to be able to be with you to share your story. So you came, you said 2014 is when you first came here, and that was for college, right? Can you tell me about that?
It was a while before that. It would have been 2008 when when I first came here to college at MSUM.
Sure.
And then that's when I met my now wife. And then she came and studied out in England for a while. We ended up getting married out in England too, in a super old church in a small little village. So we got married out there. And then I moved here, so that was in 2014 we got married. And I moved here in November 2015 because it took a while for the immigration process and all the paperwork to go through. So about a year and a half from when we got married that I could actually move here.
That is so exciting. And now you're moving toward this next step. Obviously, like I just mentioned, you're a business owner. So you've actually become an entrepreneur, started a business in this community. You've employed people. And we're now getting to the point where you're a full U.S. citizen, right? And so you're having your ceremony after the show, a little bit after the show today. What are you expecting? Are you excited? What is that like?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's been a long while. Like I said, I've been here for quite a few years now, and the process with paperwork and interviews and all those kind of things, it's just nice to be here, and it doesn't really feel real. I suppose, kind of imagine like, I don't know, graduating from college or something along those lines. It's been a while for you to get to that point. And now it just feels crazy that I'm actually here today and about to go get my citizenship.
And one thing you and I have discussed is that coming to the U.S., there's a lot of things that we take for granted. I mean, especially here in Fargo Moorhead, like it snows, you shovel the snow. Like that's a thing we take for granted. People sometimes that are new Americans or that come from another country aren't familiar with that stuff. What kinds of culture shocks did you experience when you got here?
I would say a snowblower in itself was a culture shock. I had never seen or even heard of a snowblower before coming here. And I remember my wife telling me about snowblowers, the existence of them, and I was like, no, that's got to be like something the city may have.
That seems like a weird concept.
Yeah, I was like, no, that can't be real. And then, everybody has snowblowers. And I'll be honest, for the first 2 years, I manually shoveled. After that, I got tired of it, and then I did actually end up getting a snowblower. So yeah, that was a kind of a strange thing, whereas the amount of snow was very different to what we have in England. If we have a couple of inches, we'll shut down the airports. And
wow.
Yeah, it's a complete different to here where 6 inches or a foot, people just go to work and go along about their day.
Now, you had shared with me a story before about, when you came for college and you were here and then you realized, I need all these things, and you were so lucky that your wife at the time took you out and you guys went shopping. Can you tell me that story? Because I think that's something that a lot of people could probably relate to, and also give us a little bit of empathy when somebody's new to the area or even new to the country.
So when I first arrived, it took a while for the immigration paperwork to go through. And in regards to the showing up to the college, it ended up being Labor Day. So we don't have the same holiday in England. So I showed up and I was like, why is nobody on campus? There's nobody here, there's nobody around. And then I met my now wife, her and her group of friends, and they said, oh, it's a holiday. And I was like, so where am I going to get, who do I speak with to get a comforter or a blanket or all these things for the dorm room? And luckily they were there, they helped me, they took me shopping. So we went shopping to get comforters and blankets and all those kind of things. And it was an experience, and just things like that, like not realizing it was a holiday, just arriving and just being like, it was nobody around on campus. And so it was an adventure, and it was luckily I met my now wife and her group of friends, and they took me around, and we got a cheeseburger that night, and cheeseburger and Coke, and we went around and went shopping, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
So what are those things that we're proud of as Americans, but maybe something you experienced? For instance, you said a cheeseburger. That is, to a lot of people, that's a very American thing. So what are some other things that you were like, I need to do this because I'm in America?
I would say lots of like milkshakes and American diners.
Sure.
I think is the biggest thing. From watching movies and older movies in Britain, you see those kind of things all the time, American diners. So I went to go to lots of really old school diners. Another thing was the difference in the variation of chicken wings, I love chicken wings. So I honestly love going to all those different places, trying out different ones, different recipes. So that was a huge difference. And I would say things that I weren't expecting was foods that were like more of a German or Norwegian background, obviously from where we live in the Midwest. Things that I'd never experienced before, even though from being born and raised in England and close to Europe and Germany and Norway, I'd never had Nefla soup. I did not know what that was. I had never had like lots of the German things like kuchen and desserts, and I'm a big foodie and I love those kind of things, so that was really nice to experience too.
You know, it's interesting because as an American, and I love British TV shows and anything really from the UK, I just love that whole region because that's where my family's from. I think of people in the UK as being very worldly because you're so close to a lot of different countries and a lot of different experiences that, you know, in America we're kind of isolated. You know, we have Mexico and we have Canada, but we're our own little zone here. So really quick, we have just a second left. Can you tell me, is there anything that you've learned through this process of coming to America, anything maybe that you've learned that maybe we should appreciate more or that maybe we should not take for granted?
I would say one of the biggest things is just kind of remembering that people's backgrounds and histories, like German and Norwegian and those kind of things, and I think that would be really helpful in helping other people and other immigrants come to the country too, is having those conversations and having those stories where a lot of people here, their great-grandparents were German and they just landed in the US, and kind of those kind of similar stories just to help people integrate into culture and society here. I think that would be really helpful.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. Avi's the owner of Windsor Waffles. If you haven't had their waffles, make sure that you get some. And I'm sure we'll have you guys on again, I think in April.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cannot get enough of those waffles. So stay with us. Up next, a really, really cool segment about a way that you can wine and dine, but you can also do that for a good cause and help others in the community.